I've made 36 beats this month. Some are better than others. This one's crazy. There's some cool ones in there for sure. You listen to Humanity, it was really good. Thanks, man. I think it's a very aggressive song, and I enjoy listening to those songs. This will probably mean nothing to you, but I got the softest towels I've ever felt. I should make more stuff with decent sound. I have so many banks on here that I don't really. I took a screenshot of a free plugin earlier. The full edition, what's the difference? Okay, you can do everything with the free, but the full edition unlocks more quality options to improve CPU or audio quality. So it just sounds worse. Also going to buy a new plugin later this month if I can. Oh, the link to the plugin you're getting. What are the odds that I've heard of it before? Ha! I love that. That's so funny. Pissed, flips it, puts it back, a little bit embarrassed about the outrage. Like, I don't know if I've heard of this one. Is it a pitch corrector? Flagship singing synthesis software can easily create realistic sounding vocal covers or original songs by simply sketching out. It's like an AI voice. Like Kevin is a singer, Ryo is a singer, King Su. Whoa, there's so many. I wasn't expecting there to be that many. We're gonna watch a YouTube video on this. Yeah, this person looks like they make good videos.
Hi everybody. Today I want to show you how
That background song is way too loud. Hold on.
Just remember, life moves on. Oh, when you're...
So you can hear that natural pitch variation and variability that's creating a more natural performance.
feeling down.
Like I'm not a fan of it and
that
I just want to give a
vibrato.
new and then it's going to go ahead and use context awareness and recalculate everything.
Feeling down.
So it just really enables us to be more creative and add different vocal.
Let me check out the video you sent. 3 different vocalists in the same project. I wonder if it's CPU heavy. I guess after it's like rendered or whatever, it wouldn't.
寂しい心についた日がぐるぐる回るメリメリゴ
Oh.
優しさとぬくもりだけ残して
This is like a songwriter's dream.
They're really kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. You know, they're not really seeing past their nose in a sense. Like, there's so many possibilities that this AI can have towards your art that you're just sort of shutting out because of an emotional reaction to something that you fear or don't understand. And especially when it comes to being online, people can get into their little bubbles and
It is a tool for sure. And the people who adapt with it are going to win. AI is an inevitability at this point, but there's definitely things that you need to think about.
many people can get into their little bubbles and not understand the other side either and sort of their concerns. One thing that many people are saying is like AI is going to steal work from artists and people are going to turn to AI rather.
Which is true, but that just means the skill gap is going to widen. The really good artists are going to find a way to use it as a tool, and the artists who are just scraping by right now, they're going to lose their job because what they can do is going to be replaced.
Than
It's just like those self checkouts at the supermarket. Like, it replaced the checkout chick, right? Because that's a low skilled job, but it's not going to replace the manager yet. And when it does, like, you're just going to, the skill level is going to increase exponentially for you to still be useful, and the output you can have is going to be exponential if you can use it to your advantage as well. But it is still going to put people out.
paying, you know, an artist to do their work. But let's be honest, the reality of something like this is that an artificial intelligence is not going to really take away many jobs. In my
Is she high?
personal opinion. And I say that because people who would rather go to an artificial intelligence to get some visual art rather than an artist are people who would probably not pay to begin with. Rather than using an AI to generate art, they would probably just steal the art that you've been working on, crop out your logo, maybe do a few edits, and then post it as their own. I've seen
I mean, there's definitely people who would do that for sure, but I don't know if that would be a large percentage of people. It's gonna take a lot of jobs. I mean, in the long term, bro, there's nothing. If there's nothing it can't do better than a human, we've really only got art left. You know what I mean? We've really only got art left.
seen arguments about how AI doesn't really have any value and it doesn't really, you know, say anything. There's really no artistic merit to it. But if we really look at that on its head and kind of take it from a more free market perspective, which I know is going to piss a lot of artists off, but I kind of align more this way, is that the value of something is what we assign to it as individuals. In the same way that art is something completely is a complete abstract concept of the mind, money is the same way. It's just sort of a thing we have to trade different, you know, commodities and goods. In the same way with art, our personal value of something is sort of what gives it value. So
True.
some people may see AI art and not really value it because it doesn't meet some arbitrary standards that they have, but they're
Not necessarily. I think art is inherently a human, and you're not gonna connect with a piece of art if it's not by a human. And I think that's an argument that a lot of people are making that are pro artists. AI are going to be it's going to be able to make something insane, right? Technically speaking, or whatever. And on the surface, it will probably, it's like pop music, right? Pop music is very modern and polished, and you know what I mean? But there's no soul in it. And I think that's kind of what AI is going to be. Now, that's short term. Long term, I think we're going to have AI models that we can train to make music specifically to our tastes. So that means like we're all going to be DJs essentially. Like instead of making the beats myself, I would train an AI bot to spit out the types of beats that I'm looking for, rather than producing them myself. I think that's the step in the long term. So the good thing I see is people that don't have resources to contract a vocalist would use this. and pitch it out to an artist to give them direction where the beat's made, and it's which one is wrong, but yeah, for sure. I mean, this is insane. Like the plugin, and I think it's really cool. Like I don't think it's, and because I don't think it's taking people's jobs in any way. Because I mean, it sounds cool, and I'm like shocked because it's AI, right? But if you put that up against a real vocalist, I still think people are going to prefer the real vocalist. Obviously, this is like very early days, and this is like the best AI can do. But it's cool, and it's a great tool exactly for what you're saying. Like for producers, this is sick.
There are many people who are going to look at AI art and sort of see it as this really interesting artistic expression, and an artistic expression that had its original sort of foundation within, the human mind, and then was changed into something that was able to be computated by an artificial intelligence using a totally different perspective. And they would give that perspective its own unique, interesting value.
See, this is cool. Like if you take something and expand upon it with AI, that is cool. That to me is cool. And that is fun. Like imagine if you made a loop, you made a melody, and you gave it to AI and it finished the beat, but it finished it in 4 different genres. Well, it didn't finish it, but it put kick, snare, hi-hat, like foundational drums. And you could go in, you could pick which one you like the most. Maybe you like the one with the rock drums, whatever. You go in there, you can change the samples, you can go in and fine-tune it from there, but it gives you another point, multiple points to jump off from. That would be sick. That's what I want to do. I want to expand towards giving me the option to run with. Exactly. Because I think that's my biggest problem. My phone just went flat. I think that's my biggest problem when it comes to making beats and songs, is just running out of things to, like, I feel like I run into a dead end. Like, I don't know what to do next. Back.
Versus only sort of relying on the perspective of an individual human being, if I'm making sense here, right? And I think when you sort of blind yourself to the amazing possibilities that artificial intelligence has, I think long term, once the market settles and we find equilibrium, overall the artistic sort of...
What she's talking about, like the market equilibrium, you're making a pretty big assumption. If we just let it go, it's going to fall into our favor. And the problem is, like, these tools for artists, it really can't do anything malicious. But when you're talking about AI in general, like if you just let that shit go, no regulation, like all that stuff. And that's, I'm not saying this is what she's saying, but if you just let companies do whatever the fuck they want with AI, like similar to what they did to the internet, like we're seeing now, social media companies, they've gotten so much power, they've moved the town square from the real world onto social media, and they can choose to censor and change the information funnel in a way that it really can have power over a large group of people. Like imagine with AI, where it'll be as big, if not bigger, than social media and the internet in our lives. And it's going to be able to be programmed to create stories on its own that are indistinguishable from the real thing. So that is really dangerous. And I'm not saying she's saying this shit should be like unregulated or anything like that, but there are definitely areas of AI and AI in general that we need to put the brakes on a little bit. It's also not wrong, but not right. It's a tool to help. Anything after that's crazy is like it's saying they can limit it to the people that want to grow, that want and grow, who wants to grow. That's true. But with that being said, it's almost like growing specific people. That's true. With that being said, I don't think you should keep it from everyone based on the fact that not everyone is going to be willing to run with it. I think you definitely don't want it. You don't want to be in a situation where it is withheld from certain communities to put them at a significant disadvantage, if you know what I'm saying. And that would be troublesome. Great point. The thing is, like, you don't want to trust people's individual instincts. I think when we come together, we can have great solutions. But if you give power to a very small selection of people, like the way the world is run right now, most of the decisions that are made that impact the rest of us are made by 1 to 2,000 very wealthy, very powerful people. And they obviously make decisions that are going to benefit them, that are going to keep them in wealth, power, all of these things. Even if that means great struggle, pain, and death of all of us. And that wasn't really as felt back in the day when we had kings and queens, right? These kings and queens, very few people have most of the power, but they didn't have tools like AI, like nuclear weapons that could have, you know, world crushing consequences in the blink of an eye. Exactly. To upgrade again. So I think in order for this to pan out in a good way, the power needs to be taken back by the people. And I think we're very uneducated in that sense. Like, we have the power, like, just purely on a numbers level. There are more of us than there are of them. And throughout history, like, if the people revolt, they just kill the kings and queens or whatever, and they move on into a different direction that the people decide. They elect officials, blah, 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 to make policies, laws, whatever. And because things have been so good for so long, we've kind of forgotten that these powerful people still exist and they're still making decisions that are better for themselves rather than for society. Yeah, strive for a better society, exactly. And we've sort of given up that power because they've convinced us that we don't have it. Like, our voice doesn't matter. Like, what you think doesn't matter. What I think doesn't matter. Because nothing's going to change. When really, we all have the power. They are just telling us that so that we don't get them the fuck out of there. You know what I'm saying? We just got comfortable to question people with power. Exactly. That's exactly right. We just got comfortable. We dropped the standard and we started to become more tolerant. We started to accept shittier and shittier decisions by the people who make the decisions, to the point now where we're like, fuck, like, things are getting pretty bad. And it's good because people are starting to figure it out again. We're starting to wake back up and the pendulum is swinging in the other direction. And it's exciting. Probably understand sugarcoating it. I mean, that's the best word I could come up with to summarize it into like one standard, but yeah. And I mean, it's way worse in the US than it is right here. In Australia, the price of the cost of living is fucking ridiculous. But we don't have an issue with, as far as I'm aware, illegal migration or, you know, crime as much as like the US does. Our government's just as corrupt. Like, we're right up your ass in terms of that sort of stuff. But yeah. Yeah, here it is. Even Jesus needs to come down and slap some people. I know. Yeah, it's getting quite bad. Getting quite bad. And if, you know, this shit, if they convince us, again, like we were saying, we have the power. If they convince us that we should go to war between Israel and Palestine, that could very well be the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know, it's bad when I sleep and wake up again to go every day. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm very like I'm grateful every day that I wake up. That so bad sometimes I sleep through it. Yeah, it's crazy what you can like become adapted to. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next 12 months. The people in power will do anything to stay in power. Anything. Well, I mean, it's not really even a conspiracy at this point. Like, the US government is completely fucking overrun by communists. And I think they'll destroy the world to save themselves. Some people want Trump to be president, others don't, but I haven't seen anyone question who's going to fight against these crazy amounts of power. I mean, I've heard I think if you vote Biden in, or like they reckon Michelle Obama is going to replace him. If you vote them in, I'm worried. Like Trump is not fucking great either, but I think he's got the right intentions in terms of moving the country in a good direction. But I really like Vivek a lot. Like I'm not fully invested. Like I don't know every in and out detail, but she kind of all go to see Jesus. Yeah. I mean that's what um Andy Frisella on he has a Real AF podcast, that's what it's called. And he does like CTI and he talks about like American politics and what he thinks is gonna happen and all the fucking crazy shit that's going on. It's really good actually. You should listen to it. Either we all go to war against each other or we'll be controlled by a tyrant. I mean, the fact is like, and Andy talks about this all the time on the podcast, is like we already are. We already are there. It's almost to the point now where we like the point of no return type shit. Like they're gonna have so much control and power that we cannot take it back. All I should have heard about America's freedom, just a ruse, being blind to it, and trying to get that American dream is only attainable through having assets can actually out those who pretty much running in places why luck is the only chance you have to make it. It's tough. It is tough. But I don't think luck is the only chance you have to make it. And I think you can influence your luck by making your own decisions. And I think, bro, you should definitely listen to this podcast. I've been listening to it for a long time. And honestly, things I've learned from him have completely changed my life. Like, he has the CTI stuff, but he's a really successful business person. And his main thing was about that. But when shit started to get all fucked up, he started doing like the CTI and talking about current events and stuff like that, because he realized that if you don't nurture the soil that you're going to plant the seeds of your business or like becoming successful, like the American dream, right? Then you can't do all these other things, like run a business, get rich, be successful. It's called Real AF. I'll fucking send you the link to it right now. Boom. It's right here. Can I share it like this? Copy show link. Listen to this show. The Q&AFs, the CTIs. Trust. It's some good fucking shit. The reason why I try to learn all genres, I know I won't be good at one genre, but at least have a wide space. Countless ideas are going to help with something or make something unique. I think it's very helpful to learn one genre, because then you can genre hop a lot easier because you understand what makes one genre work as opposed to another, and then you can more easily build out that wide spectrum of countless ideas. For me, when I was first starting out, it took me a long time and it was very demotivating because I couldn't really like, when you try and have a wide approach in the beginning, you're not really good at anything. So you feel like you're just shit. Like you've been spending all this time, you're making all this different stuff, and it's all like mid at best. But if you just kind of pick one, and like making beats around acapellas really helped me because it made me understand like how songs are structured, and then you can kind of do anything you want around that. Like obviously there's no rules, right? But we're more familiar to certain patterns, and once you sort of understand what the patterns are, you can break them in ways that are cool and fun and interesting, but they're still familiar enough for you to recognize them, resonate with them, and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, if you're enjoying making all genres, and like, I'm definitely not saying you should only make one type of beat, but I think would help get you there the fastest. But also, sometimes you just want to fuck around, like you don't care about making any specific patterns of structure. So I would guess vibe and resonates with what you're looking for sure. For sure. Like if you in the beginning, like when you first sit down to make a beat, I think your mind should be empty. Like you're not trying to make anything specifically unless you've got like a vision, like you sat down to make something that you thought about. Most of the time I sit down, I don't know what I'm going to make. And that's really interesting. I just find a sound and like, okay, this sound would fit with this other group of sounds, and then this vibe, oh, I kind of feel like putting these types of drums on there. That's kind of how I approach it. But you can do it a bunch of different ways. Yeah, I mean, I make what I want, but if you think about it, I've been only leaning towards hip hop. Yeah, and you've been making some EDM stuff as well, which is cool. And your melodies are dope as well. Like it took me a long time to learn melodies, like things that are catchy and stuff. I think what would be fun as well to switch things up is to just watch tutorials on like stock plugins, see what they do, and just add little tricks in your tool belt for like effects and sample manipulation that can freshen things up a lot. And then you're also learning fundamentals of like how sound works and how to process it. Like if you do this specific thing, it sounds like this, and understanding like signals processing and oscillator shapes and all that type of stuff. Some people find that super boring. I find it somewhat interesting, but you can try that. Like if I get a piano melody, send this to a mixer track. Now I've got a few things that I could do. I could keep it sounding like a piano, just filter it, cut out the lows, put some reverb, put some delay on it. That's usually what I do. You can go really crazy after a while when you've got saved presets, and you can throw one of these on there. Chorus is a good one to make it sound a little bit different and wider if you're looking for that wider sound. And then a bunch of multi-effects plugins are just fun to have, like Gross Beat to chop it. Shaperbox does a whole bunch of stuff. Portal is pretty good if you just want like a different texture. Distortion can really change the sound and saturation, but often it's a combination between them. And I use this gate a lot to make it bouncier. If it's too like sustained and boring, you can bounce it, you can half time it, and then you can make presets. Yeah. So you can put a bunch of plugins on here, right? Let's just make one right now. So we got EQ. We'll throw reverb on here. Put some chorus. Okay. Now we're gonna put a gate on there. Make it plucky. And then we're gonna half time. Oop. And we're gonna half time it. And then what I like to do sometimes, give it a little bit more movement, is throw like a panning plugin on there, make it go really slow from side to side. Pitch the MIDI up an octave so it sounds normal. And then let's slow pass all the hardened stuff out of the bottom. And then what I do is I name it. You don't have to do that, but I usually do. File, save mixer track state as, and then name it. I've got a bunch of different folders for like different types of presets. And then yeah. And then you can go in here when you've got a raw sound and you can just click a random one and see what it comes up with. Your birthday? Dude. Old as fuck. Yeah, that happens. Every year you get a bit older. Every year. Damn, it's 1:15 right now. I'm rebelling against my instincts to go to sleep. Here I am hanging out with you on your birthday, making beats. 28, I want to get run over already. Christ, that's God, that is. I wonder if the basses in here are any good. What's the difference between BA and BAS? Damn, this is aggressive. Fuck, I have to get ready. They're eating me out. Wait, pause. I have to get ready. They're taking me to eat out. Fuck. I want to stay home. Tell them to get fucked. You're watching the Breezy stream. It's your family, bro. That's disgusting. Pause for a bit. How about we just move right on past that swiftly? So, I know I did. Alright, bro, we get it. I'm tired. Oh, look, I can't read. I can't read when I'm tired. That's really the reason. Trust me. Trust me, that's really the reason. I think also when I call it quits there, we'll actually listen to the beats we made today and then I'm going to call it because it is late. Cool. But my face was. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I guess. Take it easy. Much love and peace.